introduce myself. Adwa Ma'al Bay. Peace, fam.
Islamism, Queen, how you?
I'm well. Yourself?
That's what's up, that's what's up.
All right, Islam, Morris. Islam.
Islam, Sheikh.
Islam.
So today, this is the Rethinking Black History lecture series, lecture number 2, featuring brother Professor Denham L, aka Professor Iself. This was one of the early Moors that, when we started getting into the information, this is one of the early Moors that sort of put us in the perspective of looking at noble duality beyond what you're told about it, right? Because at the same time, no one really knew that it was more science that he was dropping, because at that time we didn't have the mindset that, you know, the knitted cap with the tassel on it, he's sending signals, right? We just look at it as another brother with information, metaphysical information, you know, and bam, bam. So then we started getting into finding out, because another thing too, I'm not sure if the brother could probably talk about it when he steps up, but when maybe 5 years ago, when he punched up Professor Iself, there was like 20 videos. Now when you punch it up, there's maybe like 2-3 videos up there. You're lucky if you get one of the original ones with him and, you know, the white background, sitting on a stool or whatever, just dropping.
Why is that?
Well, you know, he'll be able to, I don't know. All I know is that it was up there.
Okay.
Right? When you punch up, and that's why I sent out, when we were doing the, because I didn't know. Right? That's why when I sent out the text, if you never heard about Denham, make sure you Google, you know, Professor Iself, see what comes up. Because my mentality is, yo, they're going to go on there, there's going to be 20 videos up there, and then, you know, people, but now we see why the numbers are low today, because they did Professor Iself and nothing ever came up.
What you're saying is
so they don't have a reference point now.
What they're doing is cut off the information line.
Cut off the information line.
Who did?
Right?
Well,
whoever. Whether it's the people putting it up, right? Whether the brother got fed up himself with just how Moors are dealing with stuff and said, forget all these Moors, and took his own stuff down.
Right.
Right?
Or powers that be.
Yeah, but point is that I could call him on the phone. Just like I can call Jelani, Bey, Taj, Alim, Nature, Raz, whoever. And then those are all the same Moors that everybody talks about, pointing the finger out, yeah, don't deal with those Moors aren't really, they don't know what's going on, they're not teaching the right perspective of the Prophet or whatever, right? So, again, this was one of the foundation, like the brothers were talking about a few nights ago, the brothers had a conference call with Brother Jelani Bey, right? Just
8 hours.
Just to build, 8-hour conference call.
I missed that one.
Right? Now,
Was it 7?
the only reason we're able to do an 8-hour conference call with another Moorish American, is because he's sincere in his approach, in his mentality with what Noble Duality brought. Because what Noble Duality brought transcends boundaries.
Talking about the divine,
Like,
The national movement.
what Noble Duality brought isn't just for Moors to have Moor Science Temple only clubs and then that's it, right? Like we spoke with Brother Jelani. Those Moors are exercising off of the religious perspective, for the lack of a better word, right? Not the dogma religion, but like the true aspect of the universal laws and all that, right? Having a creed, right? Islamism. That's what they're exercising their birthrights on. They don't deal with the national side about challenging stuff and all that. They deal with the side that this is my religious right to exercise this way.
But you're still saying that in a sense it's a fragmentation of things too, because really we should be dealing with both sides together.
But again, it's what Noble Duality brought.
Right.
Because he set it up so that there's a place for everybody to be involved with this.
Whether it's
a
divine or
religious
national.
guy, whether it's somebody who's on some civics,
Right.
whether it's master metaphysician who thinks, you know what, forget this world and all that type of stuff. We have to deal with the higher level of,
Right.
like there's a place for every perspective. That's why it's strange that people aren't down with this.
We're down with
It's
you.
strange that, you know, like, Moors, there's Moors out there that said that, yeah, I'm Moor. And they say that by their actions because they have LB on their name. But then they're going to put out a video without LB on their name and then bash the Prophet. Or they're going to start up a Facebook page and not put LB on their name. And want to think that, you know, they're active because they say so. Activity means, let's show me something. That's why we put all these videos up on YouTube. That's why we stream everything. And we just put it out there for free. Because we're so far behind, like we don't have time to play the, you know, get money game from people in order to, you know what I mean? That, like we're past those stages. And
We have a divine
dealing with
mission.
those, yeah. Anybody
We have a
who's
divine
dealing
mission.
with that mentality or that perspective, right? We don't deal with it. That's why we can call this brother on the phone. Yo, we need to do a Skype lecture. Yo, tell me the date and I call Taj today. We can set up a Skype lecture tomorrow. He'll do it. You don't want no fees and well, let me check the schedule and see if I'm available to, right? Like Asir used to live in New York, moved to Florida. How come nobody's not asking no questions? How come somebody just picks up and just leaves? Like he had a base in New York. Like he had a following of people that used to follow him. And you just get up and leave all that.
So what are you saying? Or is
Right.
there something to that? Or
The same reason why El Hajj left.
Yeah, what happened? They kidnapped him?
The same reason why Khalid left.
I'm not up. I mean, sorry.
How come Malcolm X left the NOI?
Oh, I thought you were talking
because
about
it was fraud.
this new one.
How come Khalid left?
Fraud, I guess, would be the same answer.
Everybody knows about everybody. All these organizations out here,
Fraud.
the heads, if they're not saying that they're Moors, they're fraud. Period. Because all of them were told, all of them were taught, Noble Drew Ali came before all of them, right? With this perspective of, yeah, you know, liberating our people and whatever. Noble Drew Ali was the first person to bring that in America. Nobody was doing that. Everybody was trying to integrate. And if they were trying to integrate, they were trying to totally separate, which both of those you can't do. Because this is ours. This is not European stuff, or Turk stuff, or Shriner stuff, or Freemason stuff. This is more stuff.
More stuff.
That everybody's using it, just like, you know, taking it, use a splinter, take LB off their name, then go around and start calling themselves ISIS and all this stuff, and saying that they're the ambassador of indigenous Aboriginal people, come join our group.
Also, we're splintering the movement.
And then don't put the Prophet up front. Because there's a line being drawn between who's the real people and who's the fake people. It happened today with what we're dealing with. Like Allah's stepping in and drawing line. And then those who are on the one side of the line, they're the ones banging on the ark. And then everybody else is in it. And the people who are in it, they have a divine duty. They have a divine duty to make sure that, one, Noble Drew Ali is up front, because that's the patriarch, that's the sovereign grand commander. And two, to take what he brought us and go out there and free the people. Because they don't even know what's about to go down. They don't even have a clue that all their RSPs and pension and all that stuff is worth nothing right now, 2013.
Yeah.
Islam.
It's worth nothing.
That's the truth.
I just had a sister tell me that she's been saving for the last 18, no, not 18, 13 years, right? And because she didn't, well, fine print, she never graduated as soon as, grade 12 done, and never applied for school this September coming, lost all that money.
Everything.
So, it's bullshit. And they still took a percentage of that money. So
It's paper.
it's
paper
just
on
it's
computer,
just
yeah.
worth nothing, and it's just a waste of your time. It's just another thing to distract you, all in all.
Right?
Suck your blood.
And again, we know this. But we have to take this, this is why we only deal with certain Moors. Because when we we'll do 3 Taj lectures, right? And then we do Nanya Shabu El lecture, and everybody runs after that stuff. When we did Taj lectures 3 times, and nobody once ever said, hey, you know what? I think that's a real brilliant idea. That I'm going to go join his group called Moore's Order of the Round Table, and I'm just going to focus on Taj only. They didn't do that, right? But as soon as this guy comes, right, talking about the Constitution suspended, and Moors aren't telling Moors what they're supposed to be doing because the UN says this and the UN says that or whatever, and everybody's running after that fraud, right? Let me see NOI members go up in their NOI temple without their bow tie. See if they get it. Let me see them not wear their bow tie. See if they get up in that building right there. Right? So it's very clear. It's extremely clear, right? That people have taken things from the Prophet and went off and did their own thing, right? And not give him any honors, not give him no respect, not even mention his name in their records. But they want me to respect those people. Right? All these people out here that say they're Rastafarian, and they follow Haile Selassie and he's Emperor of Ethiopia and all that, right? But nobody's not going to pay attention that when he went to Menelik school, his principal, his name was Hannah Bey. The principal of the school, the Haile Selassie I went to as a youth man, was named Hannah Bey. And they're going to tell me he doesn't know about Moorish science? And that they're Rastafarian and they're black and all this stuff, go back to Africa? When he told them that, Ethiopians and you guys are brothers. There's no hierarchy. He even said he doesn't understand why they call him God and all that. And he's sitting down at the, Emperor of Ethiopia's table with a picture of white Jesus behind him. The picture's online. You go check. This is the Emperor of Ethiopia. Sitting there, a picture of white Jesus behind him. And then when he went into exile, that people don't want to say he went into exile in Jerusalem. And if you go to Jerusalem, you have to walk through Moor's Gate. Have to. You can't not go to Jerusalem and not walk through Moor's Gate. And they're going to say he doesn't know about Moorish science?
Islam.
When he did a world tour, when he left here, the Americas, we left Canada, so-called, he went straight to Morocco.
Right? So, went straight to Morocco on his world tour after Canada.
Who's that? Selassie.
Selassie. Why is he going to Morocco after Canada? Why didn't he go somewhere else? After here, after this port, Canaanland port, Atlantic Ocean, bringing in the pilgrims and all that. From here, he went to Morocco for a reason. Hillary Clinton in the Ben Franklin room sitting with the Moroccan flag for a reason. Barack Obama walking through the doors with Michelle, Moroccan flag there, sitting there for a reason. Right? But the game's up.
Gig's up.
Like the gig's up. They're not playing the black, Negro, colored, African, go back to Africa game anymore. So, introducing, right, one of the few Moors that we're going to be putting on the Skype. Because we don't deal with all these Moors out here that say they're Moors because they got a fez on. Or because they say they're members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, or because they mention Noble Drawley's name. Sellouts could do that too. But Moors that are loyal, faithful, just like, you know, the readings before every meeting, few faithful Moors, few faithful Moors,
Here's one.
this is one of them. So open up your ears and welcome brother Denham L. Islam. Islam.
Islam. Can Islam, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, you're clear.
Okay, good. First of all, I'd like to rise and give honors.
Back up a bit, back up a bit.
The creator of the world, the author of the governor of all things. Honors to our holy and divine prophet, Noble Ali. Honors to all things that are Moorish. Honors to you Moors in Canaanland. Honors to your grand sheikh, Brother Cujo, for inviting me. I'm honored to be here. Islam.
Islam.
Islam more. Well, you could back up a little bit because you're in the camera a bit.
A little bit further. Perf.
All right, yeah, you're
Perfect,
good. You're
perfect.
good.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Like I was saying, Brother Cujo, do you have a chalkboard inside of your spot?
No, we don't. But we got paper and pens though.
We got dry erase.
Okay, good. I want everybody to get their pen and paper and write down the word fruition. I want you to write that word down, and I want you to write the first 5 letters capitalized. There's a reason that I'm doing this. I'm also going to keep the floor very interactive and have a participation inside of the lecture.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, can you repeat the instruction?
Yes, can you? I would like you to write down the word fruition. But I want you to capitalize the first 5 letters of the word fruition.
All right.
Who said that?
Is that you?
Who just said that?
I
Something
think
that came from the wall.
I know.
You have paper?
You want?
I don't have a pen though. Maybe not pencil.
What more?
You see the first 5 letters, that was the word what?
Fruit.
What's the word?
Fruit.
Say it again.
Fruit.
Fruit. Right. It spells fruit. Now, let's take a look in an example into what man is. If man is a seed of a law, that's what he is, right?
Islam.
Man is a seed of a law. He's the human seed that Allah tore away from his own self and planted in the soil of soul. And that soul became a body beautiful, right?
Islam.
Islam. So what I'm getting at is the whole science behind our instruction. The first divine commandment that our holy divine prophet gave us was, man, know thyself. There's a reason this particular statement was given to us. You see what I'm saying? And when we examine further into this particular statement, man, know thyself and thy Father God Allah. Most people look at the word as a conjunction. It connects things, or it can separate. In this connotation, by a man knowing himself, he knows his Father. But his Father is not separate from his own self,
Right?
because he is his Father. That's where we're going today. We're going with the science of man, know thyself, because that's the first divine instruction. And if man knows himself, then he knows his Father God the law. Of course, there's many contradictions and many rumors and many stories that's been told. For instance, Master Farad Muhammad was the first one to teach the true and living secrets of the true and living God and so on and so forth, and the identity of the original man and blah, blah, blah. But we know that's a joke. As we can see with our first commandment, man, know thyself and thy Father God of the law is the true teaching and mystery of God that man, or God that man has looked for, as they have taught for over 6,000 years. Man has been looking for God and couldn't find one. Well, we already know through our holy divine prophet that Allah and man are one, and that man is Allah.
Islam.
With our particular teaching, it is giving us the ingredients. You understand? So that human seed, a seed, when it turns into exactly what it is.
Right?
If man is the human seed that was torn away from Allah, and inside of our teachings we are taught about belief, faith, and fruition and what they are, then we can understand why fruition is man himself, the truth. Because the fruit becomes like its original source.
Right.
So man is the seed of Allah. The fruit is Allah. That's what's produced from the seed that unfolds. But what many of us fail to realize right now is that the seed can unfold while we live in this physical manifestation right here. Man can be what he is, which is Allah.
Exactly.
Your duty is to be as your source.
Right?
And it is so important to understand what the seed contains. You know what I'm saying? The seed, what it contains. A seed contains everything, like our Holy Quran teaches us. The seed contains every aspect and possibility of its source. And when the seed is nurtured properly, the seed bears fruit. That fruit or that fruition is man himself, Allah, truth, or holy breath. Another name that we give to Allah is holy breath and truth.
Islam.
So therefore, this is all related to man's true dynamic, his internal workings. See, you know, we deal with the science of the workshop of the mind. The workshop, that's a science. It's a science how to go into the workshop and utilize the tools.
Right.
You understand? Our Holy Quran Circle 7 gives us master instructions as demonstrated by Yeshua or Jesus or whatever name you choose to utilize. But what's so important about Jesus' demonstration in our Holy Quran Circle 7 is that every school he went to, he said that he sat in every school to learn. But it seems like to me that every school he went to, he didn't learn, yet he corrected what he was taught. He corrected their teachings. You see what I'm saying? So he was already a mastermind. And that's what Moorish science is. Moorish science is the correction of all mythological teachings, aka religion. Well, people say, well, how can you use the term religion with mythology when you're a religious person? I understand the inner meaning of what Noble Drew Ali, our prophet, was bringing when he said the term religion. You see what I'm saying? He's called it Islamism. You know? And when you read our Holy Quran Circle 7, it goes deeply into what Islamism is. You are Islamism. It is your application of your own self is Islamism. Our duty is to be active, like Brother Cujo always says. But the activity starts on the inner workings of self. You have to work from the inside out. You can't work from the outside to the inside. You have to work from the inside out. These teachings are internal teachings. You know what I'm saying? These are divine principles that are utilized, and if applied with persistence, turns you into exactly what you are. God.
Islam.
Islam. And you can't be afraid of your true nature. Because we still have a religious, indoctrinated mindset at times, some of us still have a lot of Negro in us. Include myself at times. Sometimes I might flip off and bug out sometimes, you know what I mean? But it's like that. But you know, self is constant work, dealing with self. It's constant work. So you have to always be aware of what you're doing when you're developing yourself. You understand? Because we got the tools. Our Holy Quran Circle 7 is only an outside secondary show of what your soul and what you have already been through. You see what I'm saying? We put on the temple of perfected man through understanding. That's a solid stone foundation that can't be changed, that can't get thrown or thrown away or destroyed. Nobody can destroy your understanding but your own self. You know, Moorish science is definitely an individual science. You have to become an adept, you have to become a master of your own reality, your own cipher, your own world, in order to aid and affect others outside of yourself. In order to help other people, you have to be the method that you bring in the flesh.
Brother, Islam.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you, is there a way for you to put a light on in there?
Pardon me, brother?
Is
So
there-
light?
Yeah, because we can't see you at all.
Okay, hold on, brother.
No, not wrong.
No, it's fine. I mean, we'll hear him.
It'll make it better.
It will.
Am I wrong?
Come into full light.
No, you're not. You're never wrong, Moore.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Islam.
Islam.
All right. No.
It makes it a lot better.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Is there any,
Sir, you cut out there?
I said, is there any questions, any statements before I continue?
No, just keep teaching.
No, we're good. We're good. Islam.
We're good. Islam.
Okay. Islam. So again, we're getting back to the science of the seed and the fruit. The reality is that man is the fruit. He's the truth himself. But there's a trial and tribulation in the process that man undergoes in order to become the truth. You know, and we're taught that in chapter 1. See, everybody right now who's sitting inside your temple has been through their own internal chapter 1 in a sense. We've all had a fall. We've all had a fall. See, in the fall, it's just the loss of consciousness. You understand what I mean? Our people suffer from a cultural amnesia is what I call it. You know what I mean? We got a cultural amnesia. You know what I'm saying? And being that we have the cultural amnesia, we needed some type of original historic source, a phenomena to touch us. And Noble Jew Ali was that particular phenomenon. Mind never does forget. When the right words are spoken, certain things is activated chemically inside of you, which makes you call it, what we call it is gut feelings, or we get hunches or whatever. But that gut feeling and that hunch is something that you need to understand and get used to and utilize, because that's a part of you that speaks nothing but truth. Some of y'all might call it your first instinct.
Yeah.
The first instinct that you never follow. How come is it you never follow your first instinct, and then later on you look back and say, man, damn, I should have followed my first instinct. I should have never went this way.
Yeah.
Islam.
We are always doubting the self. See, demons are by you. You
Sir.
create your own demon. See, demon is a doubt. Doubt is a demon. We create our demons. There's no mystical monsters. You know what I'm saying? We create them. Doubt is a demon. Misery. You know what I'm saying? Conflict, beef, those are all demons. Anything that shatters or tampers with your emotional and mental makeup, messing with your psychology, is dangerous. And when I say psychology, I mean your soul language, because psychology is the study of the soul and not the study of the brain. The word psyche is a Greek word and it means soul. It has nothing to do with what's on your shoulders.
Islam.
So when we say European psychology, or when we say black according to science means death, science, what science are we dealing with? We're dealing with a European psychology. We're dealing with labeling. We're dealing with a bunch of different aspects of what we call European supremacy, or what is termed white supremacy. That's the science that we're against. And the only way to destroy that particular ideology is to beat it up with fact. F-A-C-T, facts. Because belief is absent of fact. You can't prove any with a belief. And a belief usually is spurred by emotion. You see what I'm saying? Which is energy and motion. So when we're dealing with more science, we're dealing with facts. And if you do have a belief, you must make that belief relevant by changing it to a fact. If you can't take a belief and change it to a fact, then that's a belief you don't want. That's something you have to get rid of. You understand? So everything is an internal process with Moorish science. You know, it's Moorish sense. It's you being in your right mind, being able to utilize information and being able to apply it in your right mind. The Prophet told us that he was teaching us to be ourselves. He never finished. He never finished. But he began to teach us to be ourselves. But who's going to finish teaching us to be ourselves in this day and time?
Ourselves.
Ourselves. How do we do that? We do it by demonstration. We don't do it by words. We don't do it by lip profession. We don't do it by talking, because you know what? Our people are a show me people and have always been a show me people. They got to see it to believe it. I was always taught just because you see it don't mean it's real. But it's the other way around for some of us. We need a pattern. Our Holy Quran Circle 7 talks about it in another age of time, that man needed a pattern in order to comprehend. And in this new age of time, man is still having a difficult time to understand the messages of purity and love that was given in another age of time, which is why our prophet came in this age of time, which is why property came in this age of time, which is now another age of time that we're into. You see? So don't ever not, just know and understand that Noble Jew Ali is a prophet. He is a prophet. And I lived in South Africa for 3 years, from 2007 to 2010. I took Noble Jew Ali with me everywhere I went, and I put him in the front. And every challenge that was given to me on a spiritual or Islamic, challenge from Mulanas and Alims and Sheikhs, I spanked them. All day. Spanked them all day, because I kept to my cultural reference. I kept to my own vine and fig tree. They couldn't sway me to the Arabic paradigm. You understand what I'm saying? They couldn't sway me to the Arabic model. So Moorish science is recognized and very well known. Prophet Noble Jew Ali is well known in other countries. Very much well known, further than he's known here. So for me, it was a very exciting moment in time. Every time that I battled a shit about not calling Prophet Muhammad my prophet, because I would say Noble Jew Ali is my prophet in my salah. It wouldn't say Muhammad Rasulullah, I would say Jew Ali Rasul. So again, fitting along with their own Quran, the Holy Quran of Mecca, Surah 14:4 tells you that every nation gets a messenger in the language of that nation, making the message clear, so that it can be known. You see what I'm saying? Our Holy Quran, Circle 7, teaches us that in nowhere in any divine records is there anyone called black, colored, or Negro. The Holy Quran of Mecca teaches you in Surah 39:13, for verily we have made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. So when the Holy Prophet tells us that we are not black, colors, and Negroes, but we come from a nation, it is corresponding and in line with the Holy Quran of Mecca. You see what I'm saying? So everything that we have is Islam. But our Islam is on a higher degree. Our Islam isn't even Arabian, even though it fits the Arabian paradigm, because the Arabian paradigm has bits of African manifest all through it. I mean, Prophet Muhammad was an African. There's no doubt about it. He wasn't an Arab. He wasn't an Arab. He was the father, perhaps, but he wasn't an Arab. You know what I mean? comes from the line of Hagar and Ishmael. So that's Kemet. You know? So you have to look at those types of things. And Arabia was a colony or a country at one point in time. It was a colony that was ruled by the Cushites or Abyssinia. They call Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? That ruled Arabia. So it was no problem for Bilal to come to Prophet Muhammad and say, Allahu Ahad, Allah one. Because he already knew about the one God. The Cushites had the one God before Arabia got the one God. See what I'm saying? So the reality is that this is all an innocent reality, but in order to utilize the gifts that Prophet Joel bestowed upon us, it's a process that you have to undergo, and then the process is in our Holy Quran Circle 7. We got a 3-day, we got 3 different types of fasts in our Holy Quran Circle 7. Are you aware of that?
No.
Yes, you are. You just ain't realize it the way in which I realize it. But you aware of it because you read your Holy Quran Circle 7. You know that John went on fast. You know that Jesus went in the building fast. But understand the 40-day fast, the 7-day fast, the 3-day fast, what these fasts are for. You see what I'm saying? There are teachings and there is instruction in our Holy Quran Circle 7. You know, Jesus meditated. He sat still by the spring, by the water. Jesus read the Vedas and the Upanishads. He read the books of Gautama. He told you certain things, it's certain studies in the book. You see what I'm saying? Chapter 1 of the Holy Quran Circle 7 is an invocation. I remember the reincarnated prophet's wife, Sister Ava Ali Ill, was on a video. This video is from the 80s. And she said in the video, I don't know where all the addicts are no more. Back in my days, the addicts could go outside and make it rain.
Who said this?
Sister Ava Ali Ill, the wife of the reincarnated prophet, Brother John Gibbons Ill. And she's 100% correct. Because chapter 1 is what it is. Chapter 1 is an invocation. All through our Holy Quran Circle 7, it teaches you about the science of will. Will is the force of the law. Force leads something called power, but power is an illusion because it's only utilized for a time period. And power is utilized by the human, by the Elohim, by so on and so forth, but it's directed by the will, by the force of Allah. The same way we direct thought process is how we can direct lightning, or we can direct element. Chapter 1, Holy Quran Circle 7, is an invocation. It's a commandment. Hear ye now things. Hear ye now all living things. Spirit man speaks from on high. These are invocations. This is what Moors are supposed to do. Utilize the elements. When you know yourself, you know Allah. What makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes is what the question is what Elijah Muhammad asked. Elijah Muhammad asked that question because he knew the answer, because he studied more science. You know this man. That's why he said it. So everything we have is going right back to us. And our relationship to that which is outside of us, yet we're aligned to it. It's called the universe. We are governed and aligned to the universe. The universe learns from us, which is why it gives us back what it gives back. So our duty as Moors is to actually take this information and apply it and go through the science of alchemy. Who knows what alchemy is?
Islam. Yes,
One thing from another to another.
Who knows what alchemy is?
To change some or a thing's chemical or physical structure into another.
Right. Chemical, physical, all of that. What you're talking about the human condition, the human being, the human organism. What I'm saying is that we have to understand the science of alchemy. Alchemy symbolically In the 14th and the 15th century, alchemy was explained symbolically as the changing of base metals to gold, the taking of regular metals and turning it into gold, so, chemically and so on and so forth. But the real science behind alchemy actually is man transforming his carnal nature into God. The base metals is the base root structure. Then your mouth. There's a process that you must go through in order to become the gold, to get to the gold, to raise your chemical vibration so high that it alters and changes your chemical makeup. That's the difference between a prophet and an angel. Like in your questionnaire, in your 101, there's a difference between a prophet and an angel. And that's the difference, what I just named, what I just shared with you. That's the difference. Most people don't even realize there's a difference because they're not studying. They read, but they're not studying. You know what I'm saying? A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in flesh, and an angel is a thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. And there's a difference. There's a big difference. Who knows the difference? Who knows the difference?
You do.
Know what the difference is?
No.
No, what's the difference?
The difference is very simple. It's in the flesh. Remember, an angel is the thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. And a prophet is the thought of Allah manifested in flesh. But what type of flesh is a prophet manifested in? Because obviously it's not human. Because the term human is in you for a prophet.
Islam.
Is it spiritual? No.
Spiritual flesh?
Not spiritual, because spiritual is not a flesh, but...
Flesh divine.
Oh, okay.
That's the goal. Flesh divine. That's the transformation. That's the alchemy. We all have prophet potential. The Christ said, what I do, every man shall do, and you'll do greater works than I. Noble Drew Ali, our prophet was our Christ. What he did, we have the teaching. We have everything we need right in front of us. See, my thing is, I'm not a lawman. I can't tell you about straw man and UCC codes, and I can't go there with you. I don't know that stuff. Besides, where I'm going, I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah. Islam.
Islam. You know what I mean? The way I'm utilizing my body, I'm not going to need paperwork because I'll be able to step in and out of my body at will. It's not a hard thing to do, it's just a little discipline. So that's where I'm at. I'm on the spiritual side. You know, I'm an angel. I'm on the other side. I'm a swift angel. I'm on the other side. You know what I mean? I fly with a scimitar, man. I ain't got time to be, pontificating over paper. It's not what I do. But I admire and give honors to all of those other Moors who do. That's where their calling is. And we can utilize all of that. That's the issue that we must learn as Moors, that we have to put chapter 25 into effect and learn how to be sane with each other and use love. But it's not going to happen because a lot of times we have people with hidden agendas. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a very sincere brother. Call me up anytime you want to talk to me, hang out, whatever, man. I'm not looking for followers. I don't want nobody to follow me, man. I might get you in trouble. Real. You don't want to follow me, man. I might get you in something, man. Real, man. So, honestly, our thing is that we are free unto our selves. You know what I'm saying? When you can lead yourself properly, you don't have to have nobody follow you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody really wants followers because they can't lead. They need somebody to check them. They need somebody to remind them of what they're supposed to do or something. And we don't need leaders. Followers, we're leaders. The goal is for everyone to be a leader. That's the goal, my goal. To keep the temple the temple should not be somewhere where people feel like it's a punishment. You know what I'm saying? The temple should be somewhere where you meet, you strategize, you organize, you fraternize, you do everything you do, you train, you do everything. It becomes a base,
Yeah.
an operative base. You know what I'm saying? For economic and social and physical manifestations to occur. That's what the temple is supposed to be about. It's not just a religious place. You understand? It's supposed to be active. And no one understand also that you yourself are a temple. And everywhere you go, you create it's with you because you a temple. In the physical manifestation, without the building, you the temple that was made without the sound of a hammer or a nail. You're the real temple. So though the prophet is, so is Allah. You are Allah. Any questions?
No.
Not yet, not yet.
Well, Brother Cujo, you know, Islam, I appreciate it. I just wanted to, you know, give a little build, and I give you honors, brother, for allowing me to come on and share. And, you know, maybe we can do this again, inshallah.
Questions, comments? You sure we don't have any? Because seems like this is a part of his segment where he'd like to interactively dialogue with you. So get involved, comment or question. I'll have one. How did you get into more science?
I got into more science back in the late 90s, man. Me, Ishmael Bey, Sharif Bey, and a couple other brothers, man. We Sharif Bey actually brought back the mother and sons, the C and Bey stuff. We thought it was more science, so we went hard with it. This is the 90s. And from there, I found out that it wasn't more science, and I began, you know, looking into it more and found a temple. And that's how I got in. And I became a divine teacher, a divine minister in 2003 of January, temple number 18, Syracuse, New York, under Grand Sheikh Henry Bey, under the Emili side. Prior to that, I had run-ins with Ra'il. I was with Rasadi Il for a little while, and you know, and other Moors I was dealing with and talking to. But I got my base with Grand Sheikh Henry Bey, and then from there, I was with Brother Pleasant Bey for about 11 years. We was dialoguing. We were very, very tight. I was on and so forth, and but that's where I've been ever since, man. You know, more science filled in all of the gaps for me, and all the other schools of thought that I went through. More science was the one that really filled in all the gaps.
Islam, thanks.
Islam. I have a question regards.
Islam.
I have a question with regards to studying. You mentioned a lot of us just read, and that's what I've been doing for the last while, just reading and not really studying. I went and got a good dictionary, but now how do I go about studying, say, Circle 7? You know, what to pull out of there? How do I go about really getting like your depth of knowledge of what's in there?
Well, what you do, honestly, you know what it is? It's actually from, sometimes when we read things, we read it, you know, and we understand what we read, and then we just continue to read. What I do is I read something, then I ponder it, man. You know what I'm saying? I ask myself questions about what I just read. Could it mean this, that? Is it possible that it could mean this? Is this a possibility? Because anything's a possibility. You understand what I'm saying? Because your soul already know the answers to everything you see. You already know everything you need to know. You just have to handle that process so that it can come much more easier. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything that I've been blessed to have and that I've been given, and you know, is just from my life, man. You know, I've studied all my life. I got knowledge of self when I was 12 years old. You know what I mean? In 1981. You know, and I just stayed on that path, you know, all my life. And I'm just blessed, man. You know, I've been places, and you just have to contemplate, brother. Your mind is so powerful. You just don't realize what you already know until you start asking yourself questions. See, you got two selves. You know what I'm saying? It'll be your lower self asking your higher self a question, and your higher self will always give you answers, man, even when you're not conscious of it. It'll pop in as an idea or a thought or a confirmation from somebody else. You had the same thought. I mean, you have to be attention because blessings are all around us, and we create our blessing. Blessings aren't given, they're created.
Islam.
So,
Okay, I have another question, more. What advice?
sir.
What advice would you give to newcomers to the awareness or the re-awareness of this of Moorish science in terms of the practicalness? Like nation, how do we get the nation, and then what do we do?
Right, right. Well, I would say be diligent to any newcomers coming in. I would say whatever you come in, however you come in, bring in with you all of your innate talents, all of your goals, long-term and short-term, and utilize it for the betterment of the movement, of the temple. Because when you're doing it for the temple, as well as doing it for yourself, you're doing it along with other people. You know what I'm saying? And the intent is to use your talents to the best of your ability, that it can boost and increase membership and help the movement grow. Because this is bigger than temple, a building. This is national. You know what I'm saying? So the idea is to turn ideas into jobs, into market, into finance. So whatever you come in with, whatever type of idea you come in with, whatever type of talents you have, whatever type of gifts you have, use those gifts in the way of more science, man. That's what I would say, brother.
Islam, thank you. Now, seeing that you're a brother that has done that and is doing that, how do you feel more science related to the things you are already doing? For example, martial arts.
Well, that's a great question. I'm gonna tell you, man. When I understood what more science really, when I became to understand what it really is and really was, I understood that I was already a more scientist. You know, what it has done for me is it has allowed me to be a practical thinker, not to have over-exaggerated thought processes. I don't think in excess. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think very, very minimal in regards to dealing with problems and so on and so forth. More science has taught me that there's no such thing as a problem. There's no such thing as a problem. You know, man is a creator. You understand? So if there's problems, then that's what man creates. You know what I'm saying? He's the maker of everything that's going on in his life. So I don't have problems. I simply changed a lot of my ways of doing things and things coming at me because of me changing my language. More science has taught me to change my language. You understand? And once you change your language, you change your subconscious simply by changing your language. And when you change your subconscious, you already know the effects of the subconscious and how it works on your conscious mind.
I have another one. A lot of us up here in this territory, like the Moorish paradigm is actually new here. Not that it's new, but it's that there has been no temple or anything of the movement been established up here. This is the first. So we do not have quote unquote elders or people that have went through the science. So that's why these things are so necessary for us. So now, could you help us from your perspective as in to understand the gap, and so that people up here, because I mean people gather here, but we don't really recognize, and I mean it makes me like amazed when I hear like so many of the Moors in certain territories, like there's only like a couple of them. So how many Moors are in Syracuse and or even around you in surrounding states, and how are the temple, like are there temples, are there gathering groups? What's the dynamic down there, just so we can get a visual?
Yeah, it's Moors. It's a lot of Moors in Syracuse. It's a lot of Moors in New York State, period. And there's temples all through upstate New York as well as the city. And you know, a lot of the Moors are separate. They're separated because again, there's those personal agendas. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people want followers, man. A lot of people's not actually looking to do real work, but they're actually looking to manipulate the prophet. You know what I'm saying? Looking to manipulate the information to utilize it for themselves, like it's been done for some time already. Fake nationalization packages and all types of nonsense, man. So those types of things. But the movement is growing in America. It's big. I mean, it's always been here. It was asleep for a little while, and it's back. But it's growing very, very strong. I mean, probably across every inner city. I know on the East Coast, there's temples just popping up all over the place.
Okay.
Awesome.
All over the place. And for the comments you made about not having elders, you are history makers in a sense by being that you are putting the first Moorish Science Temple there since the Prophet left Canada so many years ago, because he did come through Canada.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that you're finally putting, that there. But everything is done in good time. The Prophet said in the year 2000, the Moors will start to come into their own. So you're on time, brother. This is what I tell brothers and sisters. We on time. People don't realize it, but we on time. Yeah, the movement went stagnant and all that, the history, all of that was supposed to happen so the fourth and fifth generations could be on time. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We on time, so don't worry about what the old heads have done. They were supposed to do it. That's why in our divine constitution and bylaws, Act number 5 says, this organization, the first word the prophet used was the word this, THIS. He already knew it was going to be a separation. He already knew it was going to be sectism. That's why he said, this organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not going to cause confusion. This one.
Islam.
But I don't know what the rest of y'all going to do, but this organization. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's saying in Act 5. He knew it was going to be a split.
There was already a split going on in his time.
Exactly. He knew it. This is why he totally ill what he told them. You see what I'm saying? He knew it, so he set it up already. You know what I'm saying? The temple was supposed to crumble. It was supposed to fall. It was supposed to go off the face like it did. And then in 1975, 76, the Dingle Ill brothers brought it back to life. It was supposed to do that. Those are prophecies that our prophet made that came true. You see what I'm saying? And here's another one. For the fifth generation. I came for those unborn. I ain't even come for y'all. It's so unfortunate that I gotta deal with you niggas.
Straight up.
I ain't even come for y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I gotta do to get to them.
Islam.
So you in a historical position right now, fam. You in a very historical position. You know what I'm saying? The prophet is living through your example, through your actions, through your words, man. Everything y'all doing, man. So continue to be the message in flesh. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Be it in action. Be it in flesh. You ain't got to talk. Let your action. Let that be your works, man. That's all you got to do. Nobody for years. I had over 50 videos at one time on YouTube. They all gone now.
What happened?
Nobody knew in 2006 when I started making them videos, nobody knew what I belonged to, what I was, what organization I was with, who I was with. It didn't matter. I bring truth. I disseminate truthful information, that's it. But a lot of my joints is gone because I wasn't just on some rah-rah. I was spitting some shit. Excuse my language, I'm sorry. But I was gone, man. You know what I mean? And you can find maybe a few left. But they took down the meat. They took down the firecracker videos. They took down the joints where you could go ahead and do research. You know what I mean? But it's all good because the people who needed to see it saw them.
Straight.
You know, and it's a done deal. So again, I just give honor to you, Moors, man, for being upright and you know, keep the torch burning and you know, do your thing in Canaanland like you are. You know what I'm saying? Because you are the example.
Islam, more.
Islam.
You could touch on the book that you just came out with.
Oh yeah. Let me see if I could. I don't know if you can see it. Right here.
Yeah.
It's called the Red Pill Diary.
Nice.
This book right here. I wrote that book. Basically, I was writing another book called Race Hustlers, White Supremacy and Blackface. And what happened was that because of the whole Farrakhan, me and Ishmael Allah Bey, you know, we dropped the whole jewel on the Scientology link. So what happened was a lot of Nation of Islam, you know, youngsters and all that, people started getting really psychologically affected by this move, man. So I wrote a book, The Red Pill Diary, and it's two little books in one. But the Red Pill Diary accepts the tactics of cult leaders. You know, it's the tactics that all cult leaders use, you know what I'm saying? And this book helps one to identify if their leader their minister, their preacher, whoever, if he's a cult, if he got cult potential. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that book basically is about, identifying a cult leader and the techniques that they use to ensnare you inside of a cult, ideology and indoctrination.
Can you drop one for us? Can you drop one for us?
Yeah, going on the book a little bit. Like, cause we got time.
We will be getting the order them. We'll make sure we purchase all of that. We'll get all that from you to support you, brother. But that's an interesting topic still. So if you'd want to go in on a little bit, feel free.
Yeah, I'll go in on it a little bit, man. Cult leaders use a particular type of psychology, you know what I'm saying? And my book covers that. And what happens is that I'm looking specifically at Moorish people and our history with race hustlers that hustle us. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at it, the race hustlers from our own nationality, they understand the hustle because they live inside of it. And knowing the history of our people, see, a race hustler has to know something. He has to be kind of intelligent. He has to know a little bit of something about the people that he's dealing with. So knowing and understanding the history of the so-called Black American or the so-called Black people or whatever, you know that history was a history that was shrouded in slavery. And in slavery, there was a process of hope, so much to the point where it turned into songs, Negro spirituals and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And what happens is those Negro spirituals took on esoteric meanings. They didn't really mean what people think they mean today. When the slave was on the field picking cotton, talking about Jesus, come take me home, they wasn't talking about a dude on a cross. You know that. They was talking slave shit. You see what I'm saying? So things have been taken. When you know certain things, you know and understand that so-called Negroes have always been looking for a Messiah, the mother shit, or any type of something to save them, so they don't have to be accountable and responsible for their own salvation. So understanding that, a race hustler will utilize it. He'll come in and he'll utilize the ideology of God and the will of God and so on and so forth. Nobody knows the will of God. How can somebody tell you what the will of God is? If a man tells you the will of God, he's actually persuading you to do his will. Because nobody knows what the will of God is. That's some bullshit. And for you to, excuse my language again, and for you to even try to fathom or to contemplate God's will in relation to a particular ideology, you have to recognize, like our Holy Quran Circle 7 teaches us so well, that a man's ideas become his God. His ideas become God. And then sometimes when ideas become God, people become enslaved by God. In other words, people become enslaved by another man's ideas. Because he seems to be a divine being or has all of this knowledge or spoke to a God for 3 years by himself, blah, 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 does not give you the right to turn yourself over to somebody who goes to the bathroom the same way you do. And think that there's something divine with this individual and not something divine with you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what the book deals with basically. It's dealing definitely with the cult dynamic, man. You know, and I break it down, I call it the triune deception, the triune hoax. It's all in the book. And the other part of the book is called hidden knowledge. And what that's about is just basically the introduction to man know thyself techniques, meditation, just certain little things that you can utilize to help you get into self, because that's where the real teachings is. You know what I'm saying? You know, in Mecca, they got the building called the Kaaba. In Mecca, it's the outward show, of your pineal gland. You know, we circumambulate the pineal gland. That's where we make our circumambulations at. That cube is just the outward reflection of what's going on in you or what you're supposed to be doing within you already. You see what I'm saying? So everything, all of these signs and symbols relate back to yourself. They relate back to you. Osiris is the open eye. Os means to open, iris means eye, the open eye, the opener. It's the pineal gland, the third eye. So Osiris is a symbol, the perfect black. Nothing to do with a color. But black being a cosmological symbol of your pineal gland. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta understand what we dealing with here, man, what we have. You know what I mean? We have the pure science. Moral science is the science. There's nothing else but moral science. That is the science. It encompasses everything. Everything. And we measure time by cyclic ages. We dealing with ages of time. This is why Noble Ali is a prophet. Prophet Muhammad was the seal of a time period. He was the seal of the prophets. He was the seal of an age. He was the end of an age. And even their own Quran teaches you there will be prophets you know and there will be prophets you don't know. So again, they can't run from the Wali when I say he's a prophet because their book verifies it. This is how I be beating them in the head with their own Quran. So
Yeah, I didn't know I said that.
that's what the book is about, brother. But the book is just about, codes, man. You know, Heaven's Gate.
Oh, no, not nice.
That
Good.
type of mentality.
Right. What's the how do people get the book? Purchase it and all that?
Actually, you could just you could just send me a money order, man. I could just send it to you.
All right.
Also, you can go online to, I think it's on creativespace.com, and it's also, if I'm not mistaken, it's on Amazon.
But the best way for you to get the finance directly is just money order, right?
Yeah. You just money order. If you just send it to me, I can just send you the books back. Yeah.
All right. Any
And I'm
other?
currently in the process of putting together a guerrilla combat TV series. Process of putting that together also. That'll be coming probably within the next month.
All right.
Do you also practice martial arts?
Yes, I do.
How long?
25 years.
Wow.
He's a seafood.
You're
Yeah. Pinjak Salat, Kali, Shwanpak Kantao. Those are my sisters.
Like Indonesian.
okay.
Okay. Two questions.
Yes.
One, I guess a background. Cause we're trying to get the information about the master teachers that aren't really out there. So a background on yourself, how you got involved in consciousness and into the Moorish movement, and the same question but relative to the sciences that you study, the martial sciences.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got that
Well-
already? Okay.
Well, I got introduced to martial arts like most young brothers. I'm 44 years old, man. First of all, I'm 44 years old, man. And, I was born, I lived in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? So, like most little Asiatics, man, Bruce Lee was how I got introduced to the martial arts. Bruce Lee and Jim Kelly and all of them, you know what I mean? So my first entry into martial arts, I was probably about 9 years old, man. 10 years old. And my system I was learning Goju-Ryu at that particular time from a brother who was just teaching outside. You come outside in the neighborhood and he was just in the parking lot with a gi on, doing karate.
Yeah.
So we would learn from him.
Yeah.
So when I got like 11, 12 years old, I joined a school called Chi Wushu Shule. And the Shule was basically a combination of, it was an eclectic school. It was a combination of Japanese martial arts, capoeira, and kupigani and gumi. My teacher's name was Mfundishi Edward Fox. They called him the Flying Fox.
Yeah.
His brotherhood line ran to my teachers under him with Mfundishi Brother Fox. My teachers were Mfundishi Tiari Cassell, Mfundishi Brown, Professor Ronald Duncan, and Steve Nasty Anderson, and Pop Vic. I've studied with a lot of people, and then I got into the Filipino systems when I was in the military. One of my partners, civilian in the Philippines, he taught me some. I was about 19 years old at this time. Taught me some knife work, and I started searching out anything I could find on the Filipino arts. And it was funny when I came back home to Syracuse. I found somebody right in my town, man, the best kept secret, who was a Salat and Kali master. You know what I'm saying? I started learning from him, man, and And you know, and I've been here for the last, I've been with him for about 14 years. And I just left like 2 years ago. So I'm doing my own thing now.
Wow.
Islam. Thank you.
I went back to my grandmaster the other day, probably about a couple of months ago, and was like, you know, I want to train. He was like, you know, there's nothing else I got for you. There's nothing I can give you. There's nothing else I can teach you. He's like, actually, I'm learning from you now. You know what I mean? Because I've taken the system, you know, we've taken the system and turned it into something that, you know, we're creative, man. You know, we're very creative. You know, and so I've interjected and integrated other things within the system itself. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm very fortunate. And I know that you brothers and sisters up there have a Kufi Ghani and Gumi school, which I'm proud to see that art is being kept alive. And inshallah, when everything get right with me, I'm gonna come up and, you know, and get down with y'all, man.
You already
That was
know.
the next question I was gonna ask. When are you gonna come and visit?
Yeah, I'm coming up. No, I gotta come up there. You know what I'm saying? I gotta come up there, and you know, and we gonna do it. We gonna do it. We gonna go hard, man. We gonna go hard.
We're waiting, and we're as prepared as we can until then.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, all of the Moors up there, hey, you know, peace and love. You know what I'm saying? May Allah bless you all. And know and understand that what you seeking, you already have it. Know and understand that what you praying for and what you praying to, you already are.
Islam.
So keep praying. Because when you give praise to Allah, the unseen, you are also giving honors and praise to your higher self. That's the seen Allah. See, Allah is unseen, but the seen Allah is you and your higher self. That's when Allah is seen by everything. You know how they say the 5% nation, my old nation. Allah is seen and heard everywhere. He is. When man is in his higher self, you're exactly right. Allah is seen and heard everywhere when man is in his higher self.
Islam.
So we strive to be in the higher self at all times so Allah can be seen.
Islam, one more question.
Yes, sir.
With regards to meditation, I've been playing around with that a little bit and not really having much success. Is that something that we should follow, or should I be thinking more in line of what I want out of life and using the imagination creative process as opposed to sitting and trying to be quiet? Or is that meditation process the wrong process?
No, meditation, you need meditation. Meditation is very important. And with meditation, you can utilize and you can visualize imagery and use focus. Here's a perfect exercise for you. How many of y'all got pictures of Prophet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Get a picture of the Prophet shrunk down a little bit where you can put it.
What? No. Why? What's going on?
It's always good work here.
Why is it that when the name was mentioned, the whole thing was...
Yeah. What is that?
Prof is telling you, you know what to do.
We don't need instructions.
You don't need them.
Imagery is
I need them.
you know.
It's your mind's moving. And it's so true that his videos are not on the YouTube.
But I've never really tried to meditate, to be honest. Them say really when you're doing it, focus on number one.
So you can begin.
No, he doesn't.
I understand. I've been reading a lot of that stuff for years.
I think his internet,
I'm starting to see that now. That the more I spoke with them,
his internet did
like short periods of time. I wanted to kind of.
so we'll wait for him to call back.
We'll wait for a call back for now.
In the meantime, I don't know. Rivertown was gonna show a movie after. For all those
Long ship, but no friend we want to stay. 1964 we see me party.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, man. Just go ahead, man. Throw it on.
Yeah, we'll check the. Yeah, after.
Yes. Believe in Allah.
Islam.
Yo, you guys seen this, eh?
Islam, can you hear me?
Come on,
Islam, yes, we can.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna turn my video on. Can you see me?
It's coming. It's loading.
Can you see me?
Yeah. Can you see us?
All right. Yeah, I can see you.
All right.
I just wanted to continue what I was saying. Here's an exercise for you, brother. You get a picture of the Prophet, You stare at the picture for a couple of minutes. You sit down, you close your eyes, and you visualize the prophet's face in your mind. You rebuild the face in your mind. Once you can take his face and put it in your mind, and if it fades out and you can rebuild his face in your mind without the physical picture, you are now beginning your journey to talk to the prophet.
Islam.
You see what I'm saying? This is a process that's used in Sufism by the old sheikhs. This is an old technique. This is how a student talks to sheikh. When the student and his sheikh is not close to each other, they can talk to each other. They can deal with each other. It's called bayat. It's called heart-to-heart talk. Where do we meet Allah?
In the heart.
Exactly. That's where we also meet our sheikh. Noble Jew Ali is my sheikh, and my prophet, and my Messiah. When I sit down and I need to talk to a sheikh, I need my sheikh, is Noble Jew Ali.
Islam.
Visualization. Visualize his face, man. You know what I'm saying? Visualize an ankh. Visualize the word Allah in Arabic. Visualize the number 7 or the circle 7, the symbol of the logos. You know what I'm saying? Symbols have power. You might not even recognize, just you visualize a symbol, and then the symbol begins to open up certain parts of your consciousness. Because the symbol itself has power because the way it was designed. In the designing of the symbol, everything comes from a thought. So when you know the science on how when a woman cooks food, or even a man who cooks food, some people say, yo, the food was good, and you say, yeah, I cooked it with love. People can taste love in your food. You see what I'm saying? It's the same way that you tie in to your shape or to your higher energy or to your higher source. The prophet said, if you want to meet me, you can meet me on the soul plane.
Yes.
I'm telling you how to do it. I can tell you things that they'll never tell you in the attic chamber, because they don't teach these things in the attic chamber. I ain't never been in the attic chamber. Ever. But when I build with Cat, the first thing the elders ask me is, when did you go through the attic chamber? I didn't go through the attic chamber. They was like, whoa, where you get this stuff? I get it out the Holy Quran Circle 7. You see what I'm saying? So the elders knew the spiritual science. The science of the seraphim and the cherubim, calling on them, they are your protectors. You can call them, they work.
Islam.
I don't even think you heard me, man. I don't even think you heard what I just said, man.
Say it again. Say it again.
I said you can call on the cherubim and seraphim just like that. They work. They are your protectors, man.
Islam.
You can call them cherubim and seraphim just like that.
Just like that, right?
They work. It's power, man. People don't understand. There's a saving power in Moorish science. But you can't get the saving power if you don't understand that what you're dealing with is very, very spiritual and very, very mystical and has a lot of force behind it.
So
I like that.
It's high. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with like a real high powered battery. When it comes to the Circle 7, it's a battery, man. It's a power pack. But you got to know how to digest the power pack in order to get the benefits. And you can't gain the benefits by simply reading a chapter and then somebody sharing their portion on it. Not enough. You have to read the chapter and break it apart, especially the teachings of Jesus, all his degrees, all his teachings. Like for instance, when Jesus is spotted by a priest going up the 12-step ladder, most people don't even care or pay attention to the tools that Jesus had in his hand when he was on the 12-step ladder. Because we know and understand that Jesus didn't build real houses, he built temples for the dwellings of the Son of Man. He built up the character of man. He wasn't building real houses. So when he was on that 12-step ladder, what three tools was he in his hand?
Compass and square?
And the axe, compass, square, and axe?
What'd you say?
Compass, square, and axe?
Yeah. Why those?
The square to measure your lines, the compass to surround
Your
things
passions.
you care, your passions, and the axe to cut things out.
Indeed, what Jesus was teaching you right then and there is what he was working on within his own character. These were the tools he was using to build up his own stuff. He was working on his own self when he was on this ladder. Remember, these are the missing 18 years of his life where he's going to school, where he's learning his mission. So it's important to pay attention to little details like that because it shows you what Yeshua or what Jesus was working on at that particular time on that 12-step ladder when somebody else noticed who he was. He was working on his own character and somebody said, oh, that cat right there is something special. At that time, he didn't even know he was something special.
It's crazy.
For real.
And he missed the ladder working on his own self and other people were already pointing him out.
#1 draft pick.
That happens when you're doing the work.
Right.
People start pointing you out.
Or also, more, do you also think it's when more is around you stop seeing the God in themselves, then they start pointing you out because you remain.
Yup. Yup.
So the Savior
or they don't ever find the God in themselves.
Right.
And they pretend.
Right.
You remind them of what this.
And that's when I get back, when they do that, I just call them black. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you take the word black and you take it apart for what it is, it's like if you take the word black and you remove the B, you get lack.
Wow.
You remove the F, you get act. A bunch of actors. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of people on the stage, man, playing a role that Western civilization created. It's called the Negro. It's a role that Western civilization created. And we play the role well, man. And we love to play the role.
You get Grammys for that shit.
So our job is to create another identity for our people to see. We have to demystify this image that we have of our own people. That television, television, all of these things, these components that they have about us, man, we have to demystify it with action. Like with me, I try to make the garb look good. You might see me with a fez on and a jalabia with a leather on and some Timberlands or something. I like mix and match my dress code because it's appealing. Like here in America, I don't know about Canada, but in America, in the summertime, we got a lot of babies, we got a lot of kids running around here, right? And this is what they do. They get long white t-shirts. Been doing this for years. They wear long white t-shirts. Then they get other white t-shirts and they wrap their heads up in white t-shirts and wear long white t-shirts. So I came out the house one day in a turban and a white jalabia. Walking down the block. So I'm walking past the babies and they looking at me and they laughing. So I stopped. I said, yo, y'all laughing at me? Y'all laughing at my dress code? They said, yo, Hisham, man, you be bugging, man. You be on some old Farrakhan stuff, man. You be bugging out. So I started laughing. I said, but yo, look at me and look at you. I said, look at your long white t-shirt. It looks just like my long white jalabia, don't it? And I said, this turban I got on my head looks just like your t-shirt that's wrapped around your head. Now, what made you get up in the morning to put on a long white t-shirt and wrap your head like a turban? What made you do that? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I just felt it's in you. It's your ancestors talking. It's the DNA, man. It's in your DNA.
Islam.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff we do Islamically, Moorishly already, and don't even recognize that it belongs to us. The do-rags is nothing but turbans. They've been turning the wave cap and all that now, but it's a turban. It's an old school turban from the Almoravid dynasty. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's everything we need, we got it already, man. You know what I mean? Everything we need, and we as Moors, we just have to be the example. We have to put on the dress, we have to put on the gear, we have to dress up and change our look. So you won't be recognized as, you know, Leroy. You know what I'm saying? They'll recognize you as Empress such and such, or Governor such and such, or whatever. They'll recognize you because you recognize it itself as the royalty. You gotta be what you are, man. Be royal. If you royalty, man, Google never gang started. That was one of the greatest joints ever, royalty, man. I mean, it is what it is. That's who you are. Be royal. You can't get no respect from the Europeans until you are respecting your own self.
Islam.
You can't expect them to give you nothing. I don't even know why we even expect anything from them. That's the problem. We shouldn't expect nothing from them. They don't approve. They don't make us who we are in this day and time. We have rejected those particular terms and labels that will not allow us our freedom. See what I'm saying? Freedom, salvation, liberation is a process. This is not something, you know, what good is sovereignty if I'm the only one free and everybody else is unsovereign or not sovereign? What good is it me being a sovereign and everybody else isn't? What's that about? You see what I'm saying? So we got to do this holistically. We got to do it as a whole. We got to do individual work to be able to come together on a whole and put each of our talents on the table with each other and say, this is what I'm going to do and this is how I'm utilize my such and such to better whatever we're doing. Instead of crossing into gray lines, if I'm a painter, I'm going to paint. I'm not going to do computer programming. I'm a painter. Why am I be trying to mess with other computer programming and you know, when I'm a painter? So in other words, if we stick to what we know and implement what we know as individuals, we'll grow as a holistic unit and let each individual do what they know. Look, man, if you a plumber and the brother over here is a mason who does cement masonry, I'm talking about a cement mason who makes bricks and all that type of stuff, and you know, and you're a plumber, you can't go tell him that how he making his bricks is wrong. You a plumber. Stay in your lane. That's the problem with our people. We don't stay in our lane. We want to jump. Oh, you know the old science behind the garden? If you pay attention to your garden, I pay attention to mine, we'll both have great gardens. But if I pay attention to my garden and you pay attention to my garden, your garden is going to be terrible. So in other words, you know, we have to pay attention to what we know and we implement what we know. That's what man is. Man is himself what he knows. Not what somebody wants him to be. He is what he knows. So he does what he knows. That's how we get success. That's how we grant success. That's how we guarantee success. By us doing what we know. You feel me?
Feel you.
Yeah.
Islam.
Yo, in the beginning we were talking about fruition.
Yes.
Could you tie in fruition with proclaiming of nationality and actually, you know, like exercising or being.
No doubt. It just basically ties back to what I just said, that man must be the message that he's bringing. In flesh, he must be what he says he is, because man is what he knows. So the fruit comes from the seed. The reason I brought in the word fruit, you know, fruition, because of the first 5 letters, which is the fruit. And we know that chapter 1, it deals with the seed. And that man is a seed. And as man unfolds, so does his God unfold. And as his God unfolds, man realizes that he is that which he's seeking. So he is fruit himself. He is the fruit of Allah. He is the reflection. He is the same on a lower scale than that universal divine principle that makes up all things, that incomprehensible reality. You know what I'm saying? Man is that on another level, but yet that is what he is. You know what I'm saying? So fruition is man himself, the truth. What is another name that we give the truth?
Facts.
Holy breath, right? Truth is called holy breath. Holy breath is called truth. But also the holy breath in our Holy Quran Circle 7 is called she. It's called she. And when man understands his relationship to Allah, he understands why he is the husbandman of faith. The truth. Because man becomes the truth in more science when the marriage takes place. If Allah is the husbandman, he has a wife. So there's a marriage that must take place within man. This is done by the breath. It aligning with man, the will and the breath, creating a law in man, making man raise to his higher levels. The chakra system, raising to the highest chakra level. That marriage, that only can take place through breathing, through the exercise of breath in the form of meditation and visualization. This is where the realization comes from. Remember, Buddha sat in the cave so many years. Prophet Muhammad sat in the cave and meditated, and Buddha sat in the tree, if I'm not mistaken. The point is, the process in meditation. You know, the Kaaba is not only your pineal gland, but the Kaaba is dealing with the heart and the soul. In ancient in the Medu, the Kaaba is heart and soul, but the Kaaba is also a building. So again, you're always being related back to yourself. This is where the mystery is. Man is the truth. What is another name that we give to man? Thought. Man is the thought of Allah. Allah's thoughts are infinite. They can't be circumscribed. So if man is a thought of Allah, man is a part of the creation from Allah, man is that human seed that Allah tore from his own self and threw into the soil of soul, and it grew apace and became a body beautiful, then what is man?
Man is God.
Don't be scared to say it. Allah.
It's love.
That's what he is. It's no mystery. But that's what man is. Man is like his father. Man has become his father here. Is it not said that you are the Lord, the plane of soul, and the Lord of the plane things made manifest? Is it not said that?
It is said that.
Islam.
Okay. Okay, so accept that. Be that. Like Redman said, be that, man. Accept it. You can't run from your vast estate, from your heritage. You can't run from it, man. Bob Marley said it best. You keep running and you're running and you're running away, but you can't run away from yourself. Exactly. You can't do it.
You can't.
So accept your accountable responsibility as being a deity. Our Holy Quran Circle 7 teaches that even the animals are deities made flesh. If the animals are gods, what are you? You have intelligence. You have something that animals don't have.
Intelligence.
So, be yourself. Be yourself, which is the truth, which is fruition. Take that 12-step ladder, those 12 maxims of truth, and become maxims of truth. Become temperance. Become science. Become those things. We have to become things that we are implementing. We have to become it. Because once we become it, it's a wrap. Nothing can change that altercation. Nothing can change that transformation but the person who has transformed themselves. You are a high scientist. You're a scientist. Don't be scared of science. Utilize it. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to utilize the elements at your disposal. You want to be able to utilize thunder and lightning. You want to be able to utilize the elements. You want to be able to utilize your ancestors. You want to be able to invoke things and call them down and make them appear in front of you. You think something spooky about that? Something scary? No, that's what we do. People tend to forget the Moors, what the Moors came out of. The Moors came out of the Kemetic system. Moors were developed the fall of the Kemetic civilization. That's why the Moors were able to go all around the world and do what they did in them 700 years, was bring light all over the place. with mathematics and chemistry, all types of stuff. That came out of the fall of Kemet. The Moors are the holders. We keep the Egyptian mystery system. We hold that. And inside of that system is a lot of spiritual things, a lot of invocations, hymns to the ancestors, and so on and so forth. You gotta utilize these things, man.
Well, all right, Professor. All right. You were talking about Moors being the custodians of the Kemet culture.
Yes, sir.
Could you go deeper than George G.M. James went with that to validate how Moors and ancient Kemetans are relative, and how it's not ancient blacks or ancient black Egyptians or Hebrew Israelites or whatever?
Definitely. Again, you gotta remember what the term Moor, and they utilized that term. That term was utilized to explain history on this part of the world. But when the Kemetic Empire fell, you know what I'm saying, the term Moor, remember, that term was really utilized on the European landmass more than it was utilized in Africa. They describe the Africans as Moors from the French word Moray. So these particular Africans who came out of the Kemetic Empire were Kemetics. You know what I'm saying? We're African people, you know what I mean, who went abroad, who dispersed, you know what I'm saying, and went abroad and took the sciences elsewhere, because guess what? They had established lodges in other parts of the world, mystic schools. You see what I'm saying? Which is why they were able to go into these other places. You got to remember that African always had a spiritual system. We didn't have religion. We had spiritual systems. And in our spiritual systems were holistic. Everything was intertwined, connected, and in the line. Brother G.M. James, hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I could go any deeper than the way he did, man, because it's so deep, he revealed so much that they murdered him. He got assassinated. To this day, they don't know who killed George G.M. James. We haven't got here that those secret societies, because what he revealed in Stolen Legacy. You know what I'm saying? He revealed some things in Stolen Legacy, man, that I'm still studying right now. After 20 years, I'm still studying it. The Hermetic schools and the guilds, and he dropped some things that wasn't supposed to be dropped. His work is still a magnificent work that still needs to be and dealt with, because it's heavy still. It's very heavy, man. So those Moors who came out of that Kemetic manifestation were those who dispersed. They left a fallen, ruined empire. They dispersed. They took with them certain things into Europe, where they had other schools, where they had many schools. So what we're holding is older than Prophet Muhammad and older than Islam. Moors brought to Islam through Islam when it came through, because it was so closely interrelated to aspects of our Kemetic system. I can show you on the walls of Kemet all of the positions of Salat. That's the Muslim prayer. Yeah. All of the positions that's in Salat are on the Kemetic walls. You see the Kemites doing the top prayer, holding up the two hands to their head when you say Allahu Akbar and all that. It's all walls. The prostration, head between the knees and all that, that's all on the Kemetic walls, man. So you know, the prayer signs of Islam is very, very close to some of the actual application of our Kemetic spiritual system of meditation and zikr and mantra. Words of power. You know what I'm saying? We have words of power in ancient Kemet. Words where you mantra them and you zikr them. In Islam, we have that too. It's just a continuation of the Kemetic dynamic of zikr, words of power. You know? So I just tell people all the time, man, that we have to implement all of our Islam, man. All of it. Remember what the Prophet said? The Prophet said our Islam comes from Kemet, Palestine, and India. He said that to us for a reason. Kemet, Palestine, and India. Now you got to go back and look into them places and understand what Palestine brought to the table, or the land of Canaan. What India and Kemet brought to the table. And what was India under? What was Palestine under? What was Kemet under? You got to understand what the Prophet is saying to us. Everything he said, he's giving us instructions. It was all spirit. Words was spirit, even though they have physical manifest to them. So we have to take the words and heed the words very, very strong, because it's science in all of the words. It's science. Our Holy Quran Circle 7 is divinely prepared for a reason. Yes. It's divinely prepared. I'm going to give you a perfect example of how it's one way of how it's prepared. Chapter 1 and chapter 11 go together. For the record, y'all. Chapter 1 and chapter 11 goes together. Chapter 3 and chapter 10 goes together. Chapter 1 and chapter 11 is the continuation of chapter 1. Chapter 3, chapter 10 is the continuation of chapter 3. 1 plus 11 equals 12. 10 plus 3 equals 13. 12 plus 13 equals 25. Chapter 25 of your Holy Quran Circle 7 is the Divine Covenant. 2 plus 5 equals 7. Chapter 7 of your Holy Quran Circle 7 is the meaning of truth.
Islam.
So when you go through this, begin to go through the book the other way, man. Check this out. Instead of reading the Holy Quran Circle 7 from the front to the back, read it from the back to the front. Read it backwards. Utilize your. That book has some gifts in it. You gotta dig. They're all there. You know what I'm saying? When you start looking into other schools of thought, you will see. This is why the Prophet told you Palestine, India, and Kemet is where our Islam comes from. So now you can understand and see why it talks about not harming any type of animal, not even a worm. In our Holy Quran Circle 7, you shouldn't harm a worm. That's kind of like the teachings in India, huh?
For real.
Not harming animals and so on and so forth. The animals, cows. These people, man, they starving and they won't eat the cow. Because the cow is a deity.
For real.
So in the same type of breath, we can see where we have one aspect of our Islam is that we honor and respect all living things. All living things are worthy of respect because they have souls. That's what our Holy Quran Circle 7 says, basically, in a nutshell. But that's a teaching out of India. That's an aspect of the teachings that you find in India. So we have to look at what our Prophet is telling us. Palestine, India, and Kemet. And while you studying all of those places, they were all interconnected and linked to each other. Also, Confucius, Buddha, that's all tying back into India, in a sense. Because Buddha, Wada, was an Indian. Damo, Wada, he was an Indian. He's a Dravidian. You know what I'm saying? So this is all tying back. So again, it's an African. So the Prophet gave us a pure African science, a spiritual science that's integrated in between the sciences of India, the sciences of Palestine, and the Arcane sciences of Kemet. This is why we deal with the El on the name. El was an ancient Canaanite deity from ancient Canaan. El is a god. You see what I'm saying? So, on that note, that's where I could go, brother. I hope that helped.
Oh, definite. Islam. What, because everybody that does a Skype lecture at the new temple, we need to get their advice for Canaanland, for the Moors out here, in order to keep the flame lit. How the Moors supposed to continue, being that we're just established and making history.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this, brother Cujo, man. I'm very impressed with all of y'all up there, man. And all I can say is do what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Keep the flame lit by keeping fresh lectures. You know what I'm saying? Keeping fresh information and topics. You know what I'm saying? Not being scared to explore topics. You know what I'm saying? That might not be considered Moorish or blah blah blah, because you must weigh other things in comparison to your faith. And your way of life. You must weigh other things to show that yours is supreme. That's how I see it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you continue to do the works you're doing, continue to show how all of those things are interlinked. You know what I mean? Show, Garvey was going to bring his people to Moorish science, which he did. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, what your job right now is, you have the ability to take the whole Caribbean world right now, man, and turn it into Moorish land.
Yep.
Straight.
You crossing barriers right now.
Yep.
You was the link. You and your brethren, y'all the link into the Caribbean.
Yeah, man.
Turning them islands back into Moorish islands instead of Virgin Islands.
Word.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is take the prophet back. When you go to Trinidad, when you go to Jamaica, when you go to Caraco, when you go to St. Lucia, wherever y'all go to, man, take it back with you. And when you go, put on your guard, because I'm gonna tell you something. The mind never does forget. It's amazing how you could, when you walk back on your national land, you walk back in Jamaica and you got on a long white jalabia, turban wrapped or a fez wrapped around it or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and you rocking your guard, people going to bow, they going on literally like, what the fuck? Like,
Yo, brother, they already know, but because they already have the maroon stuff, like you don't have to convince West Indians about who we are, right? It's just the how, it's the application is what we lack down there.
And what you got to do, you got to show the Maroons how it's linked to the Moors. You got to show them that it's the same family.
Yes.
That Nanny was a Moor. She was a Maroon Moor, whatever you want to call it. It's the same family, man.
Yes.
So the 12 tribe, all of that, B. All of that has to be seen, man. And you're 100% correct, because I know a lot of the brethren. I got a lot of family. You know what I'm saying, here in Syracuse, man. You know what I mean? They call me Selassie, man. They say I look like Selassie. Yeah, they call me Selassie, man. So it's like, a lot of my brethren around here, man, they know the science, but they don't understand the link. That's why it's so important. You know what I'm saying? For cats to understand the science behind Haile Selassie and the science behind Lij Yasu. You know what I'm saying? The one who was murdered, seat was taken, so on and so forth, because Ethiopia would have been a Muslim place right now. Ethiopia was very close to becoming a Muslim country.
Yep.
Very close. But it didn't happen. So it doesn't matter, because it's all tied together. Even in the time of Prophet Muhammad, when he was putting Islam together and they had conflicts, he sent his followers to Abyssinia, Ethiopia. And they were accepted in Ethiopia because the story that the brother had shared with the king of Ethiopia at that particular time, the emperor at that particular time, the emperor allowed them to stay because it was the same story that he was familiar with from the Bible, the story of Mary. He recited it from Quran, and the king understood it. Because remember, Aramaic and Arabic comes from Aramaic.
Sisters. Yeah.
Exactly. Aramaic is the mother.
Okay.
And this is what I tell people all the time. Kemet is just one of our many dynasties. Kemet is the daughter of the Kush dynasty.
Straight.
The Kushite dynasty. The first pharaohs of Kemet were Kushites.
Yeah.
It wasn't Commissions, there was Kushites. So when the first Cushitic high priest left Kemet, that's when the religion began to fall. That's when it started to fall apart. Because the real religion, the real science was a Kushite science.
So when did the term Moabites for people come, or how is it related to that?
Moabites and Canaanites came from the land of Canaan. That had always Canaan is the landmass today that they call Israel. But that little place they call Israel, all of that was called Canaan at one time. And the Moabites was a part of the land of Canaan. They came out of that land. The Moabites existed before the land of Moab. Those are terms dealing with a people. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the allegorical dynamic. Because you got to remember that Moses sent in Joshua into the promised land to get rid of all of the Moabites, all of the giants. And they murdered all of the giants, wiped them all out. You know that story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Moabites were giants, not giants as in size, but giants as in knowledge and wisdom. It is from the Moabitic science, or from the Moabite and the Canaanite reality, is where you get the Hebrew reality from. This Hebrew Israelite thing came from a Canaanitic and Moabitic reality. That's where it came from.
And brother, we also noticed that the Orisha system of Yoruba, according to them,
right,
comes from Canaan.
Oh yeah, the Orisha, the system of Yoruba, the Nigerian system.
Yeah, Ifa being the Prince of Mecca.
That's a very interesting connotation because I can see all of that being interrelated.
Yeah.
Again, the spiritual systems all being interrelated, having one source.
So,
you know, and then everything else being schools out of the one source, like chapters of the one source.
Right.
and
You know, so I was initiated into the Yoruba religion when I was 12 years old. In a dance troupe called Shanti Amani. My Orisha is Ogun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm an Ogun.
Me too.
That's why I love blades and spears and knives and metals, because the metal can heal or kill. You know what I'm saying? See, the metal is powerful because a doctor can use the metal and save a life, and an assassin can use the metal and take a life. Funny between life and death, huh? With the metal, huh?
It's also in water, in the earth. It's an element.
Okay. Indeed. All of those things are in our Holy Quran, Circle 7 in the first chapter.
Yeah.
All the elements, air, fire, water, and earth that you have at your disposal. That you can utilize for yourself. So it's just a matter of us turning it all on, brother. Islam.
The way you're talking, we're like gonna move the chairs and start class right now.
Oh, that's what's up.
That's right.
Hey, yo, man, I'm gonna be, you know, again, man, I'm gonna be up there, yo. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get up there very, very soon, bro. We gonna do it big.
All right.
I want everybody that's in the audience right now, I want y'all to be there when I get there.
oh, for
Islam.
We'll be there.
I want to meet y'all, man. I want to meet all y'all. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of love for the Canaanland boys. I got a lot of love for Brother Adisa, Brother Ujo, all of y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all doing the work, man, and you doing it in a that's where it's unknown, and you're up against a lot of odds.
Yeah.
I know you against a lot of odds.
Yeah.
You must use your ancestors, and you must use the cherubim and the seraphim as your protectors.
Straight.
So you won't. So the odds will be even.
All right. Islam.
All right.
Round of applause.
So, I wanted to say. Peace and love. I thank you. I give y'all honors.
Yo.
All praise due to Allah.
Mufti.
Honor to our holy and divine prophet. Honor to all of the Moors in Canaanland. Peace and love until the next time. Your brother. Peace.
Peace, more. Yeah, no, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, yo. Once again. You have any closing out
No, I don't have none except for Khalid is. Brother Khalid is gonna show a movie called The Long Ship for those who want to stay. All right, and if you are gonna, let's like continue the dialogue instead of having it be another hangout. You know what I mean? Let's keep the science going. All right, Islam.
Islam, Morris. Give thanks.
thank you.